We haven't been to the tent in a while. And one of the reasons we haven't been there is because we've been working on our Northwoods camp. Now our tent is on our 12 acres. We live on one end, the tent is on the other. And as you can see, it's a pretty big hill. We're gonna do a little rabbit hunting today, visit the tent, make sure everything's okay. Probably start a fire in there, warm it up, just to clear out the cobwebs. We have had some problems with mice. When we're away, the mice will play. So we're heading down to the tent. We're just gonna take a little walkabout and see if we can't bump a rabbit. Now there's a lot of rabbit tracks. We have a plethora of rabbits this year, and I haven't hunted them at all. Yeah, this should be fun. We have some really premium rabbit habitat. So as we work on this property and we clear areas out, and they're not huge areas, it's a fairly steep hillside, and so we just pick little spots every winter and clear them out, open them up. But I take all the brush and put them in piles, and that's created a pretty nice spot for rabbit hunting. We got bunny trails every place. So years ago we had beagles and we hunted this a lot. But it's been a long time since we've had beagles, and yeah, there's a lot of rabbits in here. So we're just slipping down through here to see if we can't catch a rabbit out and about. With the snow, you can really see them. That's why it's a perfect morning to be out here. I don't see a lot of fresh tracks though, so we got a little dusting of snow last night, so they might not yet be out. Over the years, we've cut trails across this hillside to try to make it easier to hunt these rabbits. So you break it up into little blocks. It also creates travel corridors for the deer. Now, a lot of them have already grown back in, and I got to go back this winter and open them up, but they're basically just wide enough for you to walk through. There's a couple that I do mow with the bush hog, but for the most part, they're fairly narrow. Just enough that the deer will use them. When we first bought this property, I came in here and planted hundreds of pine trees. White pines, Norway spruce. But because this ground is pretty rough and it's tough to grow anything on but grapes, and so years ago this was an old vineyard, and the vines are all gone now, and everything's grown up. But some of the pines that I planted have survived. And right here we got 3 of them. And every once in a while I'll run across one, and when I do, I'll note where it is and come in at some point and clear all around it just to open it up. But thing is, if you open it up too much, the bucks will come in and rub them and wreck them. So sometimes it's better to leap around them, let them get big enough so they grow up over the brush, and then the bucks won't rub on them so much, I guess. But I think that just slows their growth down some. But slow growth is better than no growth. So one of the things we have on this property is this Oriental Bittersweet. It's pretty invasive. It'll take over an area. So in the wintertime, I'll come down here and find it and cut it. And I haven't noticed that the rabbits particularly care for those bittersweet berries. But one thing they do like is the autumn olive berries. I've noticed that when there's a lot of berries and they're sitting on the ground, laying on top of the snow, the rabbits are in there eating those quite a bit. And even their urine changes color when they're eating those berries. I tried growing corn this year. It was a failure. Didn't really get too tall. Got real weedy. I just figured, we'll throw it in there and see how it grows. There was a few ears in there that were maybe 2 to 3 inches long. And that's about it. I also planted some sorghum for the birds. And that did all right. There's a few heads in there, and I think the birds will utilize it later. This ground is rough. It doesn't grow stuff very well, unfortunately, but maybe I just need to let it do its own thing. Just let it grow. The switchgrass grows well here. This. Nope, nobody home. Usually there's a handful of mice hanging out in there, but not today. I came down here a couple of weeks ago on one of the warmer days. It was 40 degrees or so, and checked my hives. I ended up with 5 hives. I gave 2 to my son. That left me with 3. One got robbed out in the fall. This hive right here was pretty weak and never really grew too well. You can see it just was one box. It was a swarm that I caught that came out of one of my other hives. It never really did well. I think this one's dead now. I opened it up very quickly. Didn't see any live bees in there. This one, the horizontal hive, had a pretty good bunch of bees in there, but I only looked very quickly. I didn't dig through this small one too much because there was a chance there was a small cluster of bees in there and I didn't want to disturb them, so we'll just let them be. And if there's no activity in there in the spring, I guess we'll just try to catch another swarm someplace. Looks like a rabbit is living underneath our porch on the tent. Lots of fox tracks around too. Probably trying to catch that rabbit. Well, for the most part, it doesn't look too bad. Definitely some mice in here, but not terrible. We don't keep a lot of food in here, or any food. We started taking the bedding out if we weren't going to be here for a while, because the mice get into the bedding. When we come to stay, we just carry all our bedding with us. Yeah, doesn't look too bad, but we're going to build a fire. We are going to build a fire and warm it up in here. This tent has been up for 4 years, nonstop. We don't take it down. We're very diligent on keeping the snow off the rain fly if it's a heavy snow. Now there is some snow on it right now, but it's a fairly light snow, so I'm not too concerned about it. We actually had a pretty bad mouse problem in our outhouse. They'd gotten up into the roof and had a nest up there. There was just a couple openings that allowed them to get up in the peak and start storing stuff and nesting and peeing, and mice can be messy. So I had to pull everything apart in there and seal that up so they couldn't get in there. And we haven't had any problems since. Thank goodness. And we did add a window too. So you got a nice view while you're using it. The window does add a lot. Gives you a little more light when you're in the outhouse. Yeah, but the mouse problem is for the most part gone. I do see a few turds in there, but gosh, those things are just so prolific. It's tough to get rid of them. Yeah, I think people are down pheasant hunting. It doesn't take long after having started that fire. It is toasty warm in here. That's what's so nice about these canvas wall tents, is that they warm up so nice. You wouldn't think that they would get as warm as they do, but boy, you can get a fire going in here, and within just a few minutes, it's really comfortable in here. I think this morning it was 15 degrees. Not sure what the temperature is now. It's probably 18 to 20, but man, it's nice and warm in here now. Well, we got the tent all nice and warm. We're just checking it out, making sure everything's good. Like I said, we haven't been down here in a while because we've been spending more time at our Northwoods camp. But every once in a while, I got to come down and check everything out. And it looks good. We've got the fire going. It's nice and toasty warm up in there. I'm gonna go do a little more rabbit hunting. So thanks for coming along. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.